It was 2 a.m., you were half asleep on the couch. The room was quiet, and then you heard it. A soft whimper, a tiny yelp, and when you looked over, your dog was shaking, legs moving like they were running from something, eyes closed, completely unconscious. And for a second, your heart stopped. Was something wrong? Were they in pain? Were they scared? You reached over and touched them gently, and just like that, they settled, let out a long breath, and went still again. You stayed awake for another 20 minutes just watching them, because something about that moment felt important, like you had just witnessed something real, something hidden, something you didn't fully understand. Here's what most people never find out. That moment wasn't random, it wasn't a glitch, and it wasn't just muscle twitching. Your dog was dreaming, and what they were dreaming about will genuinely change how you see them. In the next few minutes, you're going to discover the real psychology behind what happens inside your dog's mind while they sleep. The science of dog dreams, what causes night terrors, why they wag their tail in the middle of the night, and the one thing researchers at MIT discovered that nobody talks about enough. And by the end of this video, you will never look at your sleeping dog the same way again. Let's go. First, let's talk about something that scientists debated for decades. Do dogs actually dream? The answer is yes. Unambiguously, scientifically, yes. In a landmark study at MIT, researchers Matthew Wilson and Kenway Louie discovered that rats, whose brains are structurally similar to dogs, replay the events of their day while they sleep. Vivid, detailed, emotionally loaded replays. Not abstract noise, actual memories. And here's what that means for your dog. Every walk you took together, every game of fetch. Every moment you came home and they went absolutely crazy at the front door. All of it gets filed away. And at night, while you're asleep, they relive it. They're not just resting, they're remembering. But here's the strange part. Not all dog dreams are happy ones. Stanley Coren, a neuropsychologist and one of the world's leading experts on dog cognition, found that dogs experience the full spectrum of human-like dreams. Joy, fear, excitement, anxiety. Even something that looks from the outside, like a nightmare. And that changes everything, because when you see your dog whimpering in their sleep, they're not just making sounds. They're experiencing something emotionally real, something their nervous system is responding to the same way yours responds to a bad dream at 3 a.m. Most people don't realize this. They think it's just a reflex, but it's not. Your dog has a full inner life, and sleep is where that inner life runs free. Now let's break down what's actually happening, behavior by behavior, so you understand what your dog is going through and what it means. Let's start with the leg twitching. You've seen it, those rapid little kicks, like they're sprinting through a field in their mind. Here's the psychology behind it. When dogs enter REM sleep, the deep stage where dreaming happens, the cerebral cortex fires the same patterns it does when the dog is awake and physically active. The body wants to move. And in puppies and younger dogs especially, the brainstem's ability to suppress those movements isn't fully developed yet. So the legs go, the paws flick. And to you, watching from the couch, it looks exactly like your dog is chasing something, because in their mind, they are. The Harvard Brain Science Center has noted that REM sleep in dogs is structurally almost identical to REM sleep in humans. Same brainwave patterns, same suppressed motor activity, same emotional processing. The only difference is dogs can't tell you what they were dreaming about in the morning. But here's the next behavior, and this one is fascinating. The tail wag in sleep. You've probably seen it, a slow, soft wag, while they're completely out, eyes closed, deep in another world, and you smile because it's adorable. But what's actually happening is deeper than you think. Tail wagging isn't just a happiness signal, it's a social bonding signal. It's something dogs do when they feel connected to another living being they trust. And when your dog wags their tail in their sleep, the dominant theory in animal behavior science is this: they're dreaming about someone they love, not something, someone. In most cases, researchers believe that someone is you. Let that sit for a second. Your dog, at 2 a.m. in the middle of their dream world, is thinking about you, feeling the same warmth and security they feel when you're physically in the room. And their tail moves because that emotional signal is so strong, it breaks through even into unconsciousness. That is not a small thing. That is one of the most profound expressions of love any animal is capable of. But the next one is something most dog owners completely misunderstand. The whimpering, the crying in sleep, the small heartbreaking sounds that make you want to wake them up immediately. Here's the hard truth. Sometimes you should, and sometimes the experts say you shouldn't. When a dog whimpers gently in sleep, it's almost certainly emotional dreaming. They might be reliving separation anxiety, a moment of fear from the day, a memory of something that scared them. Their body is processing those emotions the same way your body processes stress through dreams. This is actually healthy. It's the brain doing its job. But here's the important distinction. If your dog is screaming, not just whimpering, but yelping loudly, thrashing violently, or seems unable to settle even after the movement stops, that crosses into what behaviorists call parasomnia events, and those warrant a visit to your vet. Most people either ignore all sleep distress or panic at the smallest whimper. The truth, as always, is somewhere in the middle. Now, the big question. What are they actually dreaming about? Here's what the research strongly suggests. Dogs dream about their most emotionally significant experiences, not their most recent ones, their most meaningful ones. The walk where you let them run off leash for the first time, the afternoon they spent curled up next to you on the couch while you were sick, the moment a stranger startled them and you stepped between them to protect them, the game of fetch that went on so long you both were out of breath by the end. Those are the scenes that get replayed. And here's something that will absolutely get to you. Researchers studying sleep behavior in dogs have found that the breed of dog actually affects what they dream about. Smaller dogs tend to dream more frequently, in shorter bursts. Larger dogs dream less often, but for much longer periods. And herding breeds, sheepdogs, border collies, Australian shepherds, their dream movements often involve herding patterns, circling motions, crouching postures. Even in sleep, they're following their deepest instincts. That is not learned behavior. That is ancient. That is thousands of years of genetics playing out in the sleeping brain of the dog on your couch. But here's where it gets emotionally heavy. Dogs who have experienced trauma dream differently. Rescue dogs. Dogs who were abused, abandoned, or who spent long stretches in shelters. They show markedly different sleep behavior. More frequent disturbances, more whimpering, more startle responses when touched during sleep. Their nervous systems are still carrying the weight of experiences they can't articulate. And this is where you, as their human, become more important than any medicine or training program. Because the single most effective intervention for traumatized sleep behavior in dogs is consistent, predictable, loving presence. Your scent near their sleeping space, your voice during the day, the steady reassurance that you are not going anywhere. Over time, shelter dogs who are placed in safe, loving homes show measurable improvement in sleep quality. The nightmares become less frequent. The disturbances get quieter. The tail wags and sleep start to appear. That is not coincidence. That is healing, and you are the cause of it. Now let's talk about something most dog owners get completely wrong. When your dog is twitching and dreaming, the instinct is to wake them up. You reach over, you shake them, you say their name loudly, and the dog startles awake, disoriented, sometimes even briefly defensive. There's an old saying, let sleeping dogs lie. And it turns out, behaviorally speaking, it's absolutely correct. The American Kennel Club recommends that unless a dog is showing signs of genuine distress, not just soft twitching or quiet whimpering, the best thing you can do is leave them in the dream. Let the cycle complete. Waking a dog mid-REM disrupts their emotional processing. It's the same as someone shaking you awake in the middle of a meaningful dream, disorienting, incomplete. And over time, it can actually increase anxiety during sleep. If you must wake them, call their name softly from a distance. Let them come back on their own terms. Do not touch them first, not ever. Most people don't know this. And for some dogs, being grabbed while dreaming triggers a defensive reflex that has nothing to do with their personality and everything to do with their biology. And here's something even more powerful to consider. Your dog's sleeping position around you tells a story. When a dog chooses to sleep pressed against your legs, or with their back against yours, or facing the door between you and the outside world, these are not random choices. They are ancient choices. Wolves in the wild sleep pressed together for warmth and protection. The one who faces outward is the protector. The one in the center is most trusted. When your dog curls up against you at night, they are not just seeking warmth. They are placing themselves inside the safety structure of their pack, and you are the center of that structure. You are their safe place, even in sleep. Here's one final thing I want you to really sit with. Dogs sleep between 12 and 14 hours a day. That means roughly half of their life is spent in a state where their brain is actively processing the world around them, their memories, their relationships, their fears, their joys. And across that enormous stretch of unconscious time, the thing that appears most consistently in their brain activity, the emotional signature that keeps showing up, is you. Not food, not other dogs, not the squirrels they never quite catch. You. You are the most recurring presence in their dream life. The most emotionally significant signal their sleeping brain returns to. The warm constant that their mind organizes everything else around. That is what it means to be loved by a dog. Not loudly, not with conditions, not with expectations, just completely, quietly, even in the dark, even when you're not in the room, even at 2 a.m. when the world is still and you're fast asleep. Somewhere in the soft dark of their dreaming mind, your dog is with you and their tail is wagging. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever seen your dog dream? Did they run, whimper, wag their tail? Tell me in the comments below. I read every single one. And if you want to go deeper, if you want to understand the full hidden emotional life of your dog, what their behaviors really mean, and how the bond between humans and dogs is scientifically unlike any other relationship on Earth, the next video is waiting for you right now. Don't miss it, because once you understand this, you'll see your dog completely differently. I'll see you there.